Yeah, I thought the first half, first 15 minutes, we let ourselves down. And when you play against a mature team, when you play against a good team, um, you can't do that. And we started the game off sloppy. We don't run the play we're supposed to run. And then for the first 15 minutes, we were second best, second gear, people jogging, no intensity. They score, and then they're a good defensive side. They sit in a block and make it difficult.
You talked about the first 15 minutes, I think, just about every single week since you've been here. What is it about the first 15 minutes of the first half that doesn't seem to go into the first 15 minutes of the second?
Yeah, I thought second half. I thought they showed a better energy. We adjusted a few things tactically, and it helped us. We created chances, but then if you don't hit the target, you don't score goals. But the first half, yeah, the first 15 minutes is where we lost the game. We didn't start well, and we find ourselves losing a game 1-0 that we shouldn't be losing.
Obviously, at left back, you're starting Sitinho, who recently joined the club. You don't have a single left-footed fullback at the club right now due to international and due to injury. What did you try to do to overcome that? Obviously, he's very talented, but it's hard to put in crosses when you're not left-footed.
Yeah, you just have to look. We're missing Dawson, we're missing Raz, we're missing Fanny, we're missing AJ. Am I missing anyone? Moses. We had to piece together a back line for tonight, and quite honestly, I don't think the back line was the problem, other than a couple of sloppy plays towards the end of the game. Other than that, I don't think the back line was the problem. To be honest, I thought they defended what they had to defend quite well. The attacking players, we have to be better in that part of the field.
Just kind of branching off of that, obviously, the amount of shots you had and the amount of close shots you had. Just what was it that, I mean, I know you mentioned the passive ruthlessness. Is that something that you felt was lacking?
Yeah, like who really wanted to score? You think about Ronaldo wanted to score. He hit one, it comes off the post. He hits another one, it just goes the wrong side of the post. Ronaldo wanted to score, but who really wanted to put the ball in the back of the net? We had chances on the edge of the box. A number of players, we don't hit the target. When you create those moments, when you create those opportunities, you've got to have that ruthless edge, and you've got to have that desire to put the ball in the back of the net. And we didn't have that tonight.
We saw in the first half, Lasso, Enzo, maybe even Pasture, go get into that like zone 14, take their shot from there, and they all go well above or a little bit wide. But you take off a Lasso, despite he did have that want to try to score. What kind of went into that decision making?
Um, as a coach, you got to make decisions, and when players don't perform at the level that they need to perform at, there's going to be consequences. We're not here to say pat people on the back and it's a camp and it doesn't matter. Like that, this is their job. You get paid to do your job. You get paid if you're a midfield player to connect passes, to get on the ball, to break up passes, to take shots and hit the target. You're an attacking player. You get paid to score goals, create opportunities, put the fans on the edge of the seats. You know? Did you see that? Did you feel that? There you go. I just asked them to look in the mirror themselves and come back and tell me, because some of us go home, don't watch the games, and don't honestly look at themselves because of that. Look in the mirror and tell me that you're doing your job to the level that it needs to be done at. And if you can say that, good. But if you can't,
I mentioned earlier about not having a left-footed player on the left side.
right.
Was there any consideration to putting Pasher over on that left-hand side, switching him and Trejo to get some more crosses into the box?
Yeah, at one point there was actually. We were going to do that, and then the ball kept coming out to the right hand side, so we switched Centeno and Stephen So Stephen went to the left, Centeno came to the right, and got a little bit of joy actually in that last area, and then couldn't get that final push, that final little bit of luck in the box. But yeah, that's something that we looked at, and we didn't quite pull the trigger, but we looked at it. It was spoken about.
Looking back at the goal that coming in that early, what did you see there?
I just remember it ricocheting to the edge of the box. I can't remember how we got there. I'll have to watch the film and take a look at it. But it ricochets to the edge of the box, and then he's hit it and it's gone right in the bottom corner. I thought we could have put better pressure on the shot. I thought we could have reacted a little bit better to block the shot. Last week I see 4, 5, 6 players throwing their bodies on the line in front of shots. This week I didn't see one person putting their body on the line to block the shot.
Was there a little bit of that because it was a cup match, because it was Jägermeister, and this is just the regular season? You have, about 16 more matches to play.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. It doesn't matter whether you're playing in the Jägermeister Cup, whether you're playing in the USL, whether you're playing in the Open Cup, whether you're playing a pre-season friendly. Every time you put this jersey on, there's standards. And if those standards aren't met, then we have to make changes.
After one of the best spells that you had attacking tonight, the match gets delayed because of some offensive chants going on. I'm not going to ask you to comment on that specifically, but what did you have to do to talk to your team to keep them engaged after some of their best chances get immediately that momentum's gone?
Yeah, it came at a really bad time for us. Like you say, it stopped our momentum, and we had to keep them engaged and keep them focused and keep them going essentially. I didn't honestly. You're that engrossed in the game that I didn't necessarily hear what the chant was or whatever was said. But obviously the referees heard it, the officials heard it. So I think we have great support. But can we support in a positive way with a positive energy and keep the flow of the game going?
Just finally get 10 days before Louisville. What goes into these 10 days now?
A lot of work. We got to come in tomorrow and come in Friday and get our work in and look at video and analyze. And then we gotta try and put our strongest foot forward as we head to Louisville, the best. Well, I think they're second right now, aren't they? Them and Charleston and Loudoun, the top 3 teams in the league, and it's going to be a difficult place. They don't lose many games away. But it's a massive challenge for us, and I want to see which players can rise to that challenge. I want to see which players are excited by going there and trying to put on a performance and trying to compete against one of the best teams in the league.
I got just a couple more. Turnbull gets his first 90 of the season, his first start since El Paso. What did you think of his performance?
I thought he did great. I was actually really pleased with Stephen. Stephen's been through hell. He's had an illness that's really serious, and he lost an awful lot of weight, and he's been battling through a lot. So for him to get himself back medically and healthy and put the weight back on and get back to his playing weights took an awful lot of work. And I was really pleased to see him perform at the level he did, and go for 90 minutes. What he's been through has been really difficult, so I'm really, really proud of him and pleased for him. I just wish that we could have got the 3 points.
Last one, you mentioned you mentioned Louisville. When you were with Sacramento, you had a lot of positive results going into Lynn family. Birmingham's had good results as well. What does it take to go into one of the better atmospheres in the USL and get a win?
A lot. You've got to be tactically smart. You've got to have players that want to play. You've got to have players that have courage to play, because it's an intimidating environment. The fans there create a good environment, and Danny's a good friend of mine and a fantastic coach, and he gets his guys organised, he gets them motivated, and they're really difficult to beat at that Lynn Family Stadium. But we've got to go there with a plan. We've got to go there with a clarity for our guys, and then we've got to go there with the right mindset. Because if you don't have the right mindset, you get eaten up and spat out pretty quickly.